Hello, hi seventh graders. Welcome to our technology class. This is week 17. Today, this week, this will be our last lesson before the end of the second quarter. So next Wednesday, January 13th is the last day of the quarter. So there is a new policy. You cannot submit any work past that last day, so the 13th. So please send in anything that you're missing before the 13th. Otherwise, I won't be able to count it towards your grade. So I know last quarter was a little bit different. They gave you another chance to be able to submit things in, but it's not going to be like that this quarter. So you've had plenty of time. If you fell behind or something, use this week and catch up, send it all in before next Wednesday. Okay? Alrighty. So as far as typing goes, this week you do have a new assignment. It's called Quick Sentences. And then there were three other assignments from previous weeks. There was shift key and capitalization, there was intermediate punctuation, and intermediate assessment. So you have a total of 4 typing assignments for the second quarter. Please make sure you go in and you do all your typing this week before the 13th so that you can get 100 for your typing grade. Okay, so pretty easy. Alrighty, for this week, we are actually going to be focusing on one of our second step lessons. And so actually there's 3 parts to the lesson, but I'm going to be focusing on one of the parts mainly because the topic is bullying. And so normally every school year I do like 1 week, I do like a special week, like a anti-bullying week. And we all signed like the bullying pledges and stuff. And so we didn't really do that this year. It was a little bit different, but we've done it. So I know you guys have been educated on it because we've gone over the topic and now you're in 7th grade. So we've done it many, many times. But we're going to talk about a specific type of bullying that I do with 7th graders, and we call it sexual harassment. So I'm going to be getting into that today. And we might be talking about some things that could maybe make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. And that's okay because it's a topic that definitely, I would say, most people don't usually talk about it openly. But I do believe it's an important topic because it's something that, especially with the internet, this is so out there in with the internet. And so we really need to get you guys to have an awareness so that you know how to handle it if you do come across a scenario like this, okay? And then there is a part about cyberbullying, but I'm not going to focus too much on that because in the third quarter, we're going to be doing our common sense media lessons, and one of the weeks is all about cyberbullying. So I'm just going to hold off and I'll do that lesson where we'll just talk specifically about cyberbullying, and we'll do that in a couple of weeks. Okay. So let's just do a quick review about what is bullying, and then we'll just review bystanders, upstanders. So you guys should hopefully remember that. Hang on one second. I'm just going to lower this thing. Hang on. Okay, so let me put on the little video clip. So there are a few little video clips that I'll share throughout the lesson.
There's this kid in my class, and he was pretty normal. He didn't seem really that different. They just made fun of him. I don't really know why. He was really to himself, and he liked to read, and people just, I don't know, didn't like him. They'd laugh at him all the time, and he'd just be like, shut up, shut up. It just made him feel really like he didn't even want to be at school. Whenever I'd see him being made fun of or laughed at, I just kind of be like, hey guys, stop, and then I kind of get him. I just be like, hey, you all right? Are you doing okay? And he always said yeah, but you could tell that it really hurt his feelings.
Okay, so this is really something that I've seen a lot, even with you guys thinking back in previous years, right? Kids just joking around, teasing, using and saying comments and words and things that aren't very nice, respectful or kind, right? And so there is a standard definition for bullying, which we're going to talk about. And so it isn't always bullying, you know, maybe teasing, name calling, and things like that, or just a mean behavior. But at the same time, it can still be hurtful and make people feel uncomfortable. And so, really, the whole, I guess, reminder review of this part of the lesson is that just stop before you say anything. Think about your words, how they're going to make the person feel, even if you are just joking, right? And if you've crossed the line with someone and they've asked you to stop, then you need to stop. Because if you continue, then that's when it becomes bullying, right? When the person has asked you to stop and you haven't, you continue to go on harassing, intimidating, whatever it is, name calling, all those things, that's when it can get into the realm of becoming bullying, right? So again, it's just, I know that we've talked about this, but bullying is when one or more people, they repeatedly, so they've been asked to stop, but they keep doing it. They have an intention to harm, harass, intimidate, exclude others, right? It's very unfair. It's very one-sided, right? The person who they're doing it to isn't really able to get it to stop, right? So that's how we know it's bullying. And again, this can happen in a lot of different forms. It can be verbal, it can be emotional, physical, it could be through the internet, cyber, and the one that we're going to focus on, sexual, right? So there's a lot of different kinds of bullying. But again, if it's unwanted and it's one-sided and it has an intention to harm the person, then it is bullying. Okay. So, this is really important to me, guys, that for you guys to get a hold of this, because now, you only have what, like one more year after this, and then you're going out into the real world, out of this nice bubble. And guess what? There's a harsh world, right? There's people, there's all these things that are happening every single day. Maybe you already see it on the internet. Maybe you've had some interactions with these kind of people. I hope and pray that you aren't one of them. But if you are, maybe you're hurting inside and that's why you're hurting other people. But whatever the case is, we're Christians. And so we're called to a higher standard, meaning that we're supposed to really stop and think about, are we being the light? The words that come out of our mouth, are they bringing love to other people and making them, feel good about themselves, or are they put downs, right? So this is something for you guys to think about and get a hold of, in your time that's left here, right? Building yourself up in the truth and helping yourself to really become strong in your awareness about things and how you would handle it, right? Okay, so let me just go ahead. I'm just going to move ahead to the next part of the lesson. So let's see. So like I said, the next part of the lesson is all about cyberbullying. So I'm not really going to, I'll just kind of give an overview. So cyberbullying can happen with, it can happen through, like, say, your phone, maybe through like a chat or something. It can happen through an app that you use, where people can make comments. It can happen in an online game where, again, there's some sort of interaction between people. It can happen through any sort of website where, there's some sort of communication with people. And so it can spread a lot faster because the internet, obviously, you can send out something to a million people in one click. So it can be a lot more, harmful, and it can be harder to really get rid of and deal with. And so, again, I'm going to just pause on that, and we're going to come back to that in a couple of weeks, because I really want to focus on the part of the lesson that I think we haven't really spent any time on, which is sexual harassment. So I'm going to be giving you guys a definition of that. So let me get it off of the sheet here. So everybody's going to get, I'm going to give you guys a homework sheet. And so you're going to, if you want to just jot this down, because one of the questions is, what is sexual harassment? So it says sexual harassment, let me see if I can make it bigger, happens when a student is bothered with words, actions, pictures of a sexual nature, or about being male or female, so that the student has difficulty learning or feeling safe in school. So some examples of sexual harassment, they could be through words. It could be written or verbal remarks or jokes about somebody's body, right? some about one of their body parts. It could be a written or verbal comment about someone's sexual activity, saying that they're doing certain things. It could be a tone of voice that somebody uses with someone. Actions, maybe a suggestive or a rude sound or a gesture towards someone, an unwanted touching, grabbing, pinching, staring, that's just making the person feel uncomfortable. It could come through pictures. This is definitely, I think, probably one of the more common ones. Texting, they call it sexting, right? Where you're texting a nude photo or an inappropriate photo of somebody's body part to another person, right? And that's considered sexual harassment. And also, sexual harassment can be, it can be like it could be through a phone call, it could be through a conversation. There's just so many forms that it can come through. I mean, you may not even realize it's happening to you, especially if you're on the internet a lot and you're just on these games and things, and people are chatting with you, but they're saying these kind of things. And maybe you're thinking, oh, why are they saying that about me? Or why are they asking me that? Well, guess what? Now that we're having this lesson, hopefully then your little red flag will go up and you'll be like, wait a minute, I think this is sexual harassment because this is what they're trying to show me or ask me to do, right? And so it's hopefully giving you guys more of an awareness that this is something that is out there, right? And there are online predators, these people that this is what they do. I mean, this is a little bit different than sexual harassment because they are seeking to then go one step further and try to meet the person or intimidate them to do something like send a video or a photo of them, or their body part or something. And that's criminal. That becomes criminal where the police have to get involved. So I'll spend a few minutes on that in a little bit. But let's go to the first video that they have on, and then I'm going to talk about we'll kind of talk about what the difference between flirting and sexual harassment. So let me put that on.
And everyone knows about this. It's just different.
We take boys' jokes as maybe not the same way that they would think we would take them. So basically, like when this kid wrote this thing in my yearbook that was kind of weird and sexually kind of just bizarre to me, and he thought it was, he told me before, he's like, oh, you'll think this is really funny. And I was very confused and just really surprised by it. I was kind of like, this is really weird. I feel uncomfortable. This doesn't make me feel like a really good person, and I don't know why this boy would say this to me. I knew that he was trying to be jokey, but it didn't come off that way to me. What you might say might be someone might take it a different way.
I was sitting in class, and all of a sudden a note got passed to me. I was sitting in the back, doing my work. So I looked around like, what is this? Is this a joke from one of my friends? And there was a group of girls sitting in the corner, and they broke out laughing because one of them was going, hey, and it just, it was weird. Okay, I threw away the note. And then, walking through the hallways and stuff, a couple days later, she came up to me and, she went up to me and she went, hey, and her friends were with her, and of course they thought it was hilarious. And it was really uncomfortable.
People would just call me like gay and like names and stuff, and people would just like pick on me and just left me out of like things, and people just like, they just didn't really understand anything, and they just talked. They didn't really do anything physical, but they just like talked really mean.
There was this boy, and he would touch me in areas that I didn't want to be touched, and I kept telling him to stop. And I didn't like it because I felt really offended.
It makes me feel degraded and disrespected just to be a female and watch someone touch over a girl like that and not knowing how it feels or what it looks like or how embarrassing it looks.
Okay, so This is a really hard topic to do through video. You know, I wish we could be in a discussion, because I would ask you guys, you know, have any of you ever experienced this type of thing? Have you seen this happen? You know, what is your experience with it? So we could really have an open conversation. But, you know, some of you, maybe you have encountered this before. Some of you, maybe this is the first time you're like, what, this really happens? And some of you, maybe you've seen it, you know, on the internet, again, or videos that you watch and stuff. But this is something that is real, you know, and I think probably maybe it'll become more real when you go in high school and college, but these types of things, sadly, they do happen. And that's why we have to have an awareness, so we know how to say no thank you and remove ourselves from these situations, you know, or if it's somebody that we know, like, help them, right, to be able to break out of that, and so that way they aren't putting themselves in danger, right? But it's just hearing the thoughts of these kids, you know, how it was making them feel that somebody was touching them, you know, an unwanted touch, or making, you know, rude remarks about their body or gestures towards them. And it was really, you know, making them feel uncomfortable. And if you could imagine trying to learn at school when this type of thing is happening, it's probably pretty hard, right? Because then you're just focused on, oh my gosh, I hope they don't do it again. I don't want to have that happen to me again, right? And so it's just, again, it's something that you have to really learn how to identify that it's happening, and then how to say, okay, what am I going to do about this to get this to stop? Because it's not right. Just like bullying, there is never an exception. Bullying is unacceptable. Sexual harassment is unacceptable. Cyberbullying is unacceptable. And don't ever stop and think, oh my gosh, it's my fault. Maybe it was something I did. It doesn't matter. That type of behavior is never, ever to be accepted. You go ahead and you tell somebody about it, because you need to know that you're not alone and that this is not okay, right? And even, you know, I just want to take a minute to even branch out with the whole sexual harassment. It's not just in the school environment. If something like this is happening to you at home, at church, at a sport thing that you go to, I don't know, an extracurricular thing, where somebody is touching you inappropriately, or making comments about your body, or asking you to send them pictures of body parts, or just anything that is sexual in nature, that is just making you get that feeling in you that I don't think this is right, and it's making you feel uncomfortable. Please, please don't be afraid. Reach out. Let an adult know. You know, I'm here for you. Like, if you want to message me and say, hey, could we just chat really quick alone on Zoom, or you want to come knock on the door, like, I'm totally open, because I want to help you. And I want you to know that this is never acceptable in any case for these types of things to be happening to you. Okay. So we're going to take a look at another video. So I'm going to show you, let me get to it. I think this might be it. So it's kind of like a little scenario with this girl and this guy. And what they're trying to get at is to help you to identify the difference between flirting and harassment. And so, you know, maybe there's a playful interaction between two kids, and they're just both going back and forth about something, and they both like it. That wouldn't be considered harassment, right? But if it's a one-sided thing, and somebody's making a comment about someone else, and it's making the other person feel uncomfortable, and they don't want it, then that's when we know it's harassment. So it can be a little bit tricky sometimes to really figure out what it is. But hopefully, so let's see. Let me see if this is the right video. Hang on, let me go. I think that wasn't it. Let me see if this is it.
Because of bullying.
Oh, no, that wasn't it. Sorry, gotta find the video. Here, hang on, let me find the video. Okay, here we go.
I can't believe he said that. I know. Yeah, that's so gay. Hey, don't say that. It's not cool. it.
I can't believe you did that. I hate you.
Guess who?
Okay. Johnny Drake?
Wrong.
Give me a clue. Taller with darker hair. Oh, Jack Pittman?
The one and only Drew Montgomery. Come on.
Such a goof.
But you put up with me, so...
Guess who?
I don't know.
Come on, guess.
I give up.
Oh, come on, just one more try. You got it.
Sarah? A clue. Come on, Kurt, cut it out. It's not funny.
What? It's okay when Drew does it? I mean, what, are you guys like in love or something?
Don't.
Come on, Sarah, we're gonna be late to class.
Oh, that's so cute. They're gonna go make out.
Knock it off, Kirk. I don't want to be touched, and you need to get out of my way.
Sorry, I was just kidding.
Well, it doesn't feel like kidding.
Are you coming?
Yeah.
It's just a joke.
Okay, so what we're seeing in the video are these kids, right? And so they're in the hallway. And so in the first scenario with these two kids, Drew and Sarah, it seemed like they were both just kind of joking around, kind of having fun with it. And it didn't really seem like there was any harassing going on, right? But then with Mariah and Kirk, she made it clear that she didn't want that. And he still kept going at it, right? And then he touched her, right? And she did not want that, right? So that would be like a red flag that, okay, now this is becoming harassing because the person, they didn't want it. They made it clear that they didn't want it. And they were sharing their feeling about it. And so now hopefully Kirk will get the message and he won't do that again. But now if, say, the next day he does it again, then that again, Mariah then would probably need to go and maybe tell an adult, like, hey, listen, past couple of days, I'm walking down the hallway. Kirk keeps coming. He's touching me. I told him I don't want that. He's saying different things to me. It's all unwanted. And so now that could become a form of harassment, right? And so just something else to mention to you guys, and I know here, again, it's a smaller school, but hey, still, being alone in an uncomfortable situation can make it way worse. So you always want to stick together with groups of friends, especially, say when you get in high school and you're in a bigger building with thousands of other kids. See, it was good that Mariah and Sarah were together. You never want to put yourself in a place where you're wandering alone, because that can make it easier for somebody who is looking to target somebody with harassment, because they see that the person is alone, and it's harder to get help and support when you're alone, right? So you always want to make sure that you have a group of friends around you and that you have an awareness, right, of your surroundings, wherever you are, so that you don't put yourself in these types of situations. And that goes with anything. So that goes with being at school, being in a lesson after school. If you feel uncomfortable with a teacher alone, or you feel uncomfortable with whoever it is, let your parent know. Let an adult know. Say, I felt uncomfortable with so-and-so. I don't like being alone with them. And let them, that's okay. You have the right to say that. If there's a reason, I believe God put wisdom in us and he put common sense in us, because we get those feelings, it starts rising up in you when something, you feel uncomfortable and you kind of sense that it isn't good, it isn't right. Tell somebody. Don't just keep it in and keep going with it, because that's how then you may end up in a situation that you're just like, oh my gosh, how in the world did I get myself into this, right? So let me see. Let me go back. So if you remember about being assertive, so it was good in the video because the one girl, she assertively looked at the guy. She said, listen, I don't like this. I don't want this. Please stop. She was being assertive. So hopefully he's going to listen. Now, again, if he doesn't, then it would become harassment, right? So that's the girl. She was making clear, assertive messages, right? So that was a good thing. Okay, so let me go back to the sheet so I can go over with you guys. So here's some tips how to tell the difference between flirting and harassing. So flirting is a welcome attention. So both of the people are excited that each of them is giving attention. It's going both ways. It makes you feel good or flattered. Somebody's, oh, you love your hair today or whatever. You feel in control and it's legal, meaning that there's not anything inappropriate about it. With harassing, it's not welcome. It's one-sided. Somebody just keeps saying comments or touching or whatever. It makes you feel uncomfortable, powerless, and that's not legal. It violates the school rules. You know, I would hope that all schools have the rule that every student is entitled to learn in a safe environment, and that if it's unsafe, that the people at the school will do something to make it safe for them. And so that means that if you are being harassed by somebody, that the school's job is to help you, to make sure that you will feel safe learning there, right? And so again, you should feel like, I need to go tell somebody because this is not right. This is getting in the way of me being able to learn, and that's not okay. So what else did I want to mention to you guys? I did have a little video that I wanted to show you. Let me see if I can find it. Hang on, because this was definitely an important topic. I'll have to find the video and show you guys maybe during the internet safety, but it's about sextortion. So sextortion is when somebody through the internet, usually mostly, is saying to you that I need you to send me nude photos or inappropriate photos of you. Otherwise, I'm going to XYZ. I'm going to come and hurt your family. I'm going to come and hurt you or whatever. Like they're threatening you, and they're using it by trying to get inappropriate pictures, videos of you. This is illegal. This is a 911 call. If you are ever on the internet and something like that happens, somebody types a message to you, hey, I want to see you, blah, blah, blah. You immediately stop, go get an adult, and then you can block the user, you can contact whatever the name of the company, let them know what's going on, write down the username of the person. That for very well could be one of the online predators. And police, I mean, the FBI, they have specific units that are just trying to, get these people because they're a danger to not only children, but young adults, right? And I know that it's not specifically sexual harassment by somebody that you know, but it is in the same territory as using that in a way to harm kids, right? To harm young adults. So we really just want you guys to have an awareness, because I know you guys are on the internet so much. And be careful what you watch on there, on YouTube, these apps, TikTok and stuff. If a video looks like it's inappropriate, shut it off. Don't keep watching it, because the more that you fill your mind with that stuff, the easier it is for you to become desensitized, meaning that, you've seen so many inappropriate things, you don't even think it's inappropriate anymore. And, the Bible does talk a lot about we have to guard our hearts, guard our minds, guard our eyes, right? Because sin, right, is something that if you don't take care of your eyes and your heart and your mind, what if your heart becomes so closed that you're able to look at things that are sin and it doesn't even bother you anymore? It doesn't even bother your conscience. So you have to really, you're seventh grade now, and maybe your parents have given you more independence with the internet. Well, with that comes great responsibility, the responsibility of protecting yourself, because no one else is going to be able to do it, especially if nobody even knows what you're looking at. You have to protect yourself. So please, I'm hoping that after this week, if you were maybe in a place where, you're just like, gosh, what have I been looking at? Or maybe you've even been talking to somebody online and you shouldn't have been doing that. That maybe now you'll stop and say, gosh, I need to go talk to somebody about this, or I need to put a stop to this, right? because we want to keep you guys safe, and technology should always be used for good. It should be, I mean, yes, for entertainment, you can have fun with it, but it should leave you feeling good. If you're feeling uncomfortable and bad after using technology, it was not used in the right way, right? And so you, again, as you're getting older, you have to learn how to really use it in the right ways. And I know this got off on a tangent from sexual harassment, but it is important for you to just know the impact that seeing these types of images and videos and things can have on you. And then maybe, you know, something happens and you don't even realize it's sexual harassment, right? Because you think, oh, is this just normal? But it's not normal. Okay. So for your homework, everybody's going to get one of these sheets I typed up for you guys. So there's some questions. What is bullying? What's the difference between a bystander and an upstander? These are all review. What is sexual harassment? We just learned that today. How can you tell the difference between flirting and harassing? You can go back to the video if you need. And then you're going to choose, there's 3 scenarios. You're going to choose one of them and type what you would do. So they're all related to sexual harassment. So I'll read you the first one. Leave me alone. There's a new boy in your math class. At first you think he's really cute and you make an effort to get to know him. After a while, you realize you don't have much in common. Now, however, he keeps asking you out. You've said no, but he keeps asking, and sometimes he gets angry with you. You feel kind of guilty because you made the first attempt at getting to know him better, but now his attitude and behavior are making you uncomfortable. What could you say to get him to leave you alone? So, I mean, maybe he's asking you, hey, want to meet online later? And you're saying, I don't want to. I really don't. And he keeps saying it and saying it and saying it. Why not? Why not? How are you going to assertively say, listen, no, thank you. And if you don't stop, I'm going to have to tell an adult that you keep asking me and I'm not interested, right? So you have to think how you could, in a polite, respectful, clear way, assertively tell the person, no, thank you. Someone you know has emailed you inappropriate pictures. I bet this, you know, this is a common thing with kids your age. What are you going to say to that person? You know, I don't want to receive these pictures. Please don't send them to me again. Otherwise, I'm going to have to block your number. I mean, I know it sounds mean, but if you have to say something like that, you could say it in a nice way. Listen, I don't like this. Then make it clear to the person, this isn't something that you're going to be looking at, right? And then the last one says that you're hanging out with some of your friends after school. One of your friends says she's heard some really juicy gossip about something sexual that another friend has done with an older boy. You don't believe it's true. It's making you feel uncomfortable. You think it's a rumor. Again, maybe the friend is like, oh, did you hear she sent like a naked picture of herself to this person? And you're thinking, no, she didn't. She would never do that. What are you going to do? Maybe you're going to say, hey, listen, you shouldn't be saying things about this person. We don't even know if it's true. You're spreading rumors, and that is just not a good idea, right? You have to stick up for people, right? How would you feel if somebody was spreading rumors about you, right? So, guys, I know we've talked about a lot of things that may make you feel uncomfortable. And again, like I said at the beginning, that's okay, because I know this isn't a topic that's just, you know, just openly talked about. But I think it should be, because to protect yourself, you need to have an awareness that these types of things are wrong, right? And how are you going to know if nobody's teaching you? So I would say if you feel comfortable talking to your parents about these things, that would be great. If you would like to speak with me about it, I'm totally here for you if you want to talk more. Again, like I said, it's tricky with a video. I can't really see you. I don't know your response. I can't talk to you. I don't like doing this through a video, but I'm trying to make the best of this, right? So if you do want to talk more about it, maybe you've seen something inappropriate and you've been carrying it in your heart and it makes you feel uncomfortable. You just want to let it go and you want to talk about it. You know, reach out. We can talk. Of course, it's always private. I don't tell anybody. So don't worry. It's totally confidential if you do want to reach out and talk. Okay. But keep yourself safe, guys. Okay. And make good choices with technology, especially as you get older, please. guard yourselves. Keep yourself safe out there. Okay, so do this homework. It's due by next Wednesday the 13th. Everything is due by Wednesday the 13th. And have a good day. I'll see you guys. Bye.